Today I want to talk about girls' weekend in New York City or in Manhattan. So last weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I went to New York City. From Washington DC to New York, there's a train called Amtrak, and it takes about 3.5 hours to New York City, so I took the train. And it was an easy ride, and although the seats are not assigned, I was able to find a seat and sit the whole 3.5 hours, so that was great, both to and from New York City. And so I left like, well, what time was that? I took 6 o'clock train and then got there 6:10 or something, and I got there at 9:40 something. And in order to get there, we had to leave around 5ish, and so we woke up like 4:45 or something. So it was really early, and it kind of broke my sleep habit, but of course it's worth it because it's a nice weekend trip. So first I arrived there and I met one friend whom I know from international education field, and we had breakfast at nice diner, and I had omelette with salmon, spinach, and some potatoes, and cafe latte, and we had nice ketchup. And after that, I left my bag at the hotel, and I met another friend at a tea place called Ippodo. I didn't know about this tea place, but I think they have stores in Japan, Kyoto and Tokyo. And although I lived in Osaka and I visited Kyoto many times, I don't think I visited, but it was really nice to go there. I mean, of course, as a Japanese, when I go to New York City, I wanted to do something New York or American. I didn't really care to do anything Asian. Maybe, in 1 year or so, maybe I want to, but I just arrived this January. So, but my friend wanted to get green tea. So I went, and I'm Japanese, but I don't know anything about green tea. So there was one person, American person, behind us, and he happened to be an expert. And it was really nice that both of us got advice from this gentleman in explaining what kind of matcha he recommends and what kind of regular green tea he recommends. So yeah, it wasn't really my interest to visit the green tea place, but since I drank tea also, and since I got really nice expert, I thought, oh, maybe it's a good idea to get some tea. And I thought, oh, it could be a nice gift for my husband, because he doesn't drink coffee, but he drinks tea. So I thought maybe I can get a nice green tea, and I learn how to brew it properly, and maybe we can enjoy it together. So what I got was a gyokuro tea, and then to go, as a gift. And then what we got was also matcha latte to go. And they had soy milk option and almond milk option. So I got unsweetened almond milk option, and then drank matcha latte. And it was great. And we got that matcha latte on our hand, and we walked to Bryant Park, and we sat there and talked. And then on the way to our hotel, we also stopped at Kinokuniya bookstore. Again, it wasn't really my interest, but for my friend, she was looking for some something Japanese is Japanese stationery, Japanese books for her friend who is learning Japanese. So we spent hours, and I myself love bookstores, any kind of bookstores. So once I get there, like I was like, oh, these bookstores, like these books, I'm so interested, or these little things, mini stationaries. So we spent, I think, hours there, and I got a kanji dictionary for my 8-year-old son who's learning Japanese as his heritage language or foreign language, and also kanji notebook that he can practice, and Pokemon magazine that I thought, maybe it would be interesting enough to motivate him to read in Japanese. So those are the souvenirs I got, and then we checked in at the hotel, and the hotel had nice rooftop bar, so I was drinking sparkling wine, and my friend drank white wine. But on the first day when I was walking around, even without her, before I met her on my own, I was like, wow, I'm walking in New York City. It wasn't my first time. The first time was 3 years ago with my husband, and that was amazing experience too. But this time I was walking by myself, so it gave me special feeling. And it's so funny that because I grew up watching American movies and always kind of dreaming about going to Japan as a child who lives in a poor neighborhood, who didn't even know, how to speak simple English. It was kind of amazing to see all the buildings, and when I was seeing the buildings looking up, and like, oh yeah, I remember watching Ghostbusters and Marshmallow Man, and I was walking next to the New York Public Library, and I thought, oh, I think Ghostbusters, the ghost was at the library, and I remember the scene where the books were floating, and so this is the library, that I saw when I was little. And then also I was walking, across the Madison Avenue, and oh, I thought in the movie Splash, I think Tom Hanks named the mermaid Madison because he saw the sign Madison Avenue, and I wonder, of course there are so many Madison Avenue signs, but I was looking at the sign Madison Avenue and like, wow, I'm in the city where I saw in all these movies. And so I was thinking about all the 80s movies and how little I was, and I was so proud and thankful that I'm visiting the city. I can walk, I can navigate myself, I can speak the language now, and even I have an American friend, and we're spending the weekend together, and well, this is amazing. And I have my own money to buy anything I want, and yeah, just happiness and just feeling of being proud. So that was really nice, and I was sharing what I felt with her over our drinks. And then we checked in, and we went to Italian restaurant, but before that we went to another bar and had a drink, and that kind of got me because usually my limit is 2 glasses. I already had one sparkling wine and another cocktail. But then when we went to Italian restaurant, that was where my friend had been, and she knows it was a great place, so she ordered a bottle, and maybe she didn't know that I don't drink too much, but at that time I thought like, it's good, I can drink. But by the time the food came and started drinking more, like I think I had enough alcohol. I felt like, oh, this is more than a buzz, I think I'm getting drunk. So I was getting drunk, and the food was so amazing. We ordered meatballs with some bread, and then wow, meatball itself was so yummy, nice texture, whatever herb inside was so nice. And then the tomato sauce, it's tomato sauce but so much depth in it, so like just licking the sauce itself is like so yummy. You don't want to waste any, of that. Then we had arugula salad, that was also great. And then the last one we ordered was linguine with seafood and a little bit spicy, and that was so amazing. The linguine kind of absorbed the seafood broth, and nice, al dente consistency, and it was so yummy when it came out. And even when it got cold, it tasted so nice. So I enjoy the food. And the bottle, most of it my friend drank, and then she happened to hit the glass and one glass was broken. I guess we both drank. And there was a raspberry cheesecake that we had, and the cheesecake was with ricotta cheese, and that cheesecake was so amazing too. It wasn't, like sweet, too sweet kind of cake, but nice ricotta cheese flavor with a little bit of sweetness. And I wish that I wasn't so full so I could eat it more, but I just had 2 small bites and that was it. And we stayed until, I don't know, close to midnight, and we went to the hotel and we were both drunk, so we went to sleep. But yeah, that dinner was amazing, and I would just go back for that too. Then next morning I woke up. We decided to sleep in because we drank a lot, and checkout was 11 o'clock. So, but I got up 8:30 and I wanted to run. And so next morning I wanted to run, and because I usually run along river, I thought I don't want to run in the city because I have to stop at the signals. That's the thing I hate most, running and stopping, running and stopping. So I thought if I have to stop, then why don't I just run on the treadmill, because the hotel had gym. So I was telling my friend, like, I'm going on the treadmill, and she said, you're in New York City, why don't you run the city? And I said, but I don't want to stop, there are so many traffic signals and I don't want to stop. But she said, well, it's like what is that, it's 2 ways. So if you want to go straight, and then if it's red light, then go the other way, and then kind of like zigzag. And I thought like, yeah, that's right. It's not like you have to wait, you cannot go one way, you can go to the other way. So I took the advice, and then I ran towards the river, and when I hit the river, I headed towards, what was the park's name? Hudson River Park, is that right? And I ran. So the total was like 45 minutes, but I had a nice morning run, and there was big Whole Foods in the city, and when I was running, there was like a big glass, so it's kind of like a mirror, you can see yourself. And again, running in New York City alone and looking at myself, hey Tomomi, you're in New York City and you're running alone, and yeah, this is your trip, you paid for it, and you're doing whatever you want to do. So again, this proud moment, look, how far you come since you were small and watching all these movies at home on TV. So I was proud. And then we went back, and then the next thing we did was we wanted to go to this diner, brunch place, but they were like 1 hour wait. Of course, it was Sunday. And then, so one of the things I wanted to do was going to eat dim sum, because dim sum, I feel like is something that you can only do when you go to bigger American cities. And my ideal is the dim sum place with the carts and then like checking and choosing whatever. But when we Googled around that breakfast place, we found one fairly, you know, good rating dim sum place. So we just went there and there was no cart, but the food looks good. So we decided to stay there and order dim sum and have dim sum. I'm so grateful that my American friend is okay with savory breakfast. You know, she's a global person. She traveled all over the world and she knows many different cultures. So, you know, she's not just kind of American sweet breakfast side, but she can do the Asian way too. So we enjoyed dim sum. I was so happy to eat dim sum. And then we went to museum. She recommended the Whitney Museum. There was exhibition she wanted to see, so we went there, and I'm grateful that, you know, I was able to go there. It was, you know, Whitney Museum was for American artists. So I was able to see a lot of American artists' pieces or learn about American art history a little bit, you know, because I didn't know much about it except for Andy Warhol. So yeah, and then there was little park called Little Island, yeah, and it was really beautifully like a designed area. And so we walked around and I thought it was a really nice calming place if it wasn't weekend, you know, because it was weekend, there are many families, many kids, but then if you go there maybe on weekdays, maybe less people, I don't know, but it was nice. So I'm so glad that my friend, who is New York local person, was able to take me to many different places. So that was something I wanted to share, and the feeling that I had, like it was my dream, like a vague dream, like, oh, I want to be a career woman in New York City when I was little. So although I'm not working in New York City, but now I can work with global leaders online and I can visit New York City anytime I want to. So I'm really thankful. And yeah, but then two things that I couldn't do for the both two trips. One is visiting the Statue of Liberty, which is one of the few World Heritage that US has. So the first time I wanted to go, I couldn't. The second time I wanted to go, I couldn't. So third time for sure, or fourth time, I don't know, but I want to go. And the second thing is Central Park. So I'm so weird in a way. I'm not interested in kind of normal places that people usually want to go, like, but I don't know, parks or these places I want to go. So Central Park, I wanted to go last time, the first time I visited, or the second time I visited, but I couldn't go. So yeah, next time I really want to visit these places, the Statue of Liberty and Central Park. So I'm kind of, as an accountability, I am talking right now that I'm gonna go. So thank you so much for coming to my YouTube channel. And my question to you is, you know, what was your dream city or dream place that you wanted to go when you were little? And have you visited there? And if you haven't, when would you like to go? So thank you for coming to my YouTube channel. See you next time.